offline things you want to say right now, you better
Okay, let's start again.
speak now or hold your
Look,
peace.
do you see right there where it says record, right there? Right where it says call to order, time, record?
Oh. Hey, and plus I got my posting.
Is that a new one?
I just got message it's being recorded.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda, minutes and review of old minutes. Again, they're all, you've been sent to 513 minutes. You have the agenda. I sent that to you too. Oh, I didn't change that to May when I did the financial report and the video, and they're all posted on the officer page for you to look at and view and sent to you by email. So, oh geez, I missed the 310 one too. So, no, that's 310 of Benestar. That was posted too. All right, so financial report. Connie, the summary for May, your financial report, please.
Okay, so the May spreadsheet and the bank statement match perfectly. So we have received $215 and change from Stripe, and approximately 100, and I'm trying to add it here, about $226, something like that, from PayPal. I wasn't able to get on it until today. So I just transferred that. It should be showing tomorrow, but so we have about $440 in addition to this right now.
Great. Okay. I didn't know what the exact amount was. I didn't add that up, but that's good. It's something for May anyway, thank God.
Mhm.
Okay. And the balance, as you see underneath financial summary, which Connie just went over in the match, our bank balance with RCB, right, as of 6/7, it's going to be a little higher now because Connie put some things in there, was 5705. That's an important number to remember when we go down. That's the balance that we have left. And I'll discuss that more in a second here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go down to that. But let's first have a motion to accept Connie's financial report, please.
Make a motion to accept.
All right, second. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. I'll get to this expense, income versus expense in a minute here. When we go down the agenda. As I always do for every meeting, I give you the total donations and contributions so far for 2021. So as of 6/7, remember we always start our fundraising drive in the previous year, usually September, October timeframe. We started October 20th last year for this year. We have 139 total contributions. As I have said before, our high was 250. And they were pretty good donations back then because we were fighting the lawsuits. That was our high time. We've never reached that again, that 250. So the total amount we brought in so far is 5767.98. Again, that's the number I set up here. Pay attention. That's 5705. Because as we get down, I'll explain this. So out of that, the number that were striped, we just see where the difference is, how people are making contributions. Are they making them on Stripe or are they making them on PayPal? So 88 contributors did it through Stripe and 23 did it through PayPal. Total is 4214.98. And then we got 30 checks, Connie got 30 checks since October 19th. And that total for 30 checks was 1553. So if you take our carryover from 2020, 7,500, add these numbers up, they come to 5767.98. This is what we've raised so far, 13,267.98. Our fundraising goal is 15. Again, these numbers are going to make more sense when I get down below and explain. Here's our income, here's our donations, what is our expenses? Are we going to meet our goal? Are we going to go in the red? You're going to see in a minute. And I always acknowledge, and we feel fortunate and grateful for the many members that give repeated donations. And the ones that give good donations, like there's 13 gold, that's $120 or more. There's 28 silver, which is $60 or more. 95 bronze, which is the basic $24 a year. And then 3 at helper, $12 a year. So that kind of gives you an idea what our money looks like, you know, breaking it down, where it's coming from, who's giving, blah, blah. Okay. So old business, as I said up above, reviewing the minutes is all covered and it's all posted on our website. All the agenda, the financial reports, the minutes, everything is posted there. And if we have extra meetings, like meetings with Benestar, they're posted there too. And we've had a number of those issues. Well, no, too many, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so now we'll move into new business and our 4 main initiatives for 2021. And we'll start with Benestar. It's like a repetition of the same old stuff here, folks. The specifics of the Anthem GERBS policy agreement, we're still waiting on. Now, I've had Ed involved, and Ed and I and Connie and Bob and Brian. When we have had meetings, I just kept it to a smaller number, not to bother everybody on the board. We've met with them numerous times to try to finalize this agreement. We did finalize what we call the Benestar GERBS agreement, but we still have not finalized the Anthem GERBS policy agreement. We're still waiting. So Ed got on him, I got on him. Again, we've had meeting after meeting. We set a timeline. We set a finalization of dates and completion and blah, blah. At the last meeting that we had with Benestar on 5/13, that video's on our website. And the last dates were like 6/4. They'd get us the policy agreement, the Anthem GERBS policy agreement. And at latest 6/7 on Monday. And, you know, I just got the email this morning from Don Trudeau from Benestar. And what he sent me is the 2 options again. No rates, no addendum, no GERBS Anthem policy agreement. So I said, Ed, what the heck? How many times does he think we want to look at those 2 policies, you know, option 1, option 2? Important, sure, but we need the rates and we need the addenda. We need the evidence of coverage before we can move forward. We can't go anywhere until those things are done and signed and really kick this thing off, really start the marketing, change the website redesign, start marketing. So myself personally, I'm starting to have, as you see there, I'm starting to have suspicions about why Benestar is doing what they're doing. Ed and I have talked. He sees no reason that they wouldn't want to do this because, you know, there's financial things for them, you know, benefits for them. And of course, there'd be financial benefits for us. And what's important, besides offering a solution to our retirees, is that we'd also get increased membership and increased revenue. So that's important for us. So we've been pushing and pushing. You remember going back to January 1st, we were going to kick off and all this stuff. It's been 6 months. I'm tired. I know some people on the board are tired. I've talked to a number of you. And we just shake our heads and say, why the hell is this going on? Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but this is 3 thoughts I had, if you will. GE interfered. This deal would create too many legal entanglements for GE, especially if we're asking that they approve us as a healthcare resource for our retirees and dependents. That would create a lot of entanglements for GE, especially with like VIA and their contracts. And there's a lot of entanglements within that contract that GE has with VIA. As Ed and I were doing some of the research, we see VIA signing all kinds of papers that don't belong to healthcare, but belong to a lot of other different venues that GE's pursuing. So that was kind of interesting, you know, as you dig on these things. So then the second thing is Anthem refusing to give us this finalized Anthem George policy and the addenda and the plan rates and the options and the EEOC statement. Now, the question is, and some people say, yeah, it kind of might be that, John. They want a confirmed census number. Ed told me right in the very beginning when we started talking, he said, I don't understand how they could possibly write it without a confirmed census number. They must have to give something to Anthem. So a possibility of delay. Third one is their lack of honesty, openness, and credibility. We've been doing this for 6 months. We keep getting the same thing over and over. It's driving me nuts, to be honest with you. I'm getting frustrated as hell. And I, you know, as we looked at some of the background stuff again, and I forwarded a lot of this to Ed, there's some integrity and credibility issues that, you know, we found in our due diligence. And to me, that's put a proceed with caution spotlight on them. Some of these we discussed with Benestar. Some, they said they'd get back to me and haven't. But there is some caution. There is some concern with Benestar. And you know, why aren't they being straightforward with us about why they're delaying like this? Is the other thing. I mean, they keep pushing back to Anthem is the problem. Anthem's got to come up with the agreement. Anthem this, Anthem that. Well, I don't think it takes 6 months for Anthem to make a decision whether they're going to cover us or not, and having a policy agreement with us or not. These are my opinions, and I've shared them with the board. I've shared them with Ed, and I haven't shared them directly with Benestar, but we keep asking them why. And again, going back to 513, they said, here's that we did agree on dates. We did agree on this. We will have this stuff. The Benestar Gerbs agreement and the Anthem Gerbs policy agreement by like this week. And again, we had to go back and I asked Ed to push them again. And they sent us the same old thing. So.
Well, he did answer some of the questions that we had raised about coverage.
Yeah, about coverage. That like the, I'll just give you one quick example, like on the Better plan, that the copay for primary was 15, it was 25, and we said, wait a minute, we agreed to 15. It was things like that they answered questions to about the plan options, but that's not the plan rates, that's not the EOC, that's not the policy agreement in the end, blah, blah. Okay. So then I even asked Ed, I said, hey, we already signed the Benestar Gerbs agreement. Is there a breach of contract here on behalf of Benestar? I mean, you know, we did sign that agreement. So I was just looking for any kind of strategy to get these guys off the dime. You know, I just don't feel they're being 100% upfront with us, folks. I'm sorry, but that's my gut feeling. Anybody want to say anything or add anything to that, including Ed? Ed's asking me to be patient a lot of times.
No. Look, I think that your frustration is well-founded. I think that there is something going on with them. I don't think, just to address your concerns, I don't think GE formally interfered. I just don't see why they would do it. I don't think there would be any legal entanglements for GE to the extent that an independent association obtained a group health insurance policy. So if you assume the worst, they interfered discreetly behind the scenes,
yeah.
Remote possibility.
Yeah.
The real issue, I think, is that they're trying to get a policy issued with sample census data, not real census data. That's a challenge. That could easily be the reason why Anthem hasn't just issued a policy. I was very surprised to see their willingness to even consider a group plan like this without census data. So I think that's clearly something that's impacting their ability to deliver. You know, Benestar has a reputation that's not great in some circles. They do have a reputation for being well-known in this particular space, however. And the policy that they came up with, assuming you can actually get it, provides very, very good coverage compared to what's out there just on the open market, with all the added benefits that are thrown in. So look, what I did was I looked for a couple other options, just to see what was out there. There are other groups like Via Benefits who provide individualized coverage that could be made available. I'm looking into something like that for retirees for justice anyhow. So I have no problem sharing that with the group in terms of what it's all about. Really what they are, concierge coverage providers. They're essentially brokers. The challenge is what John pointed out to me earlier, is that a lot of retirees might live in two locations. They may have a home in New York and a home in Florida. And the concern with individualized coverage is if it's New York based, will they be able to get access to, see a doctor and get prescriptions filled if they're in another state? So I sent out some emails with those questions straight on. There's two groups that I'm talking to. One is a subsidiary of Aetna. So Aetna obviously issues policies, but they also created this kind of service provider organization, just because that's a way that they can avoid having to create a group. And I had worked with some of the guys there before, so I know them pretty well. And they're very interested conceptually in doing it, because these things turn out to be very profitable for the brokers, right? Because the brokers don't take any risk. If the carriers have to pay out a lot more than they expect, they get paid a fee just for signing people up. So that is an option. Another group that's based in California I talked to, they really handhold folks, and they handle all the servicing and all of the enrollment stuff in-house. And they work very hard to get the business. So, I like having two groups, one big, one a little smaller, but more nimble. So, there'll be an option. I will say this, the policy that Benistar has put together, the Anthem coverage, it's very extensive coverage. So it's unlikely that there would be big gaps. Whereas in some of the others, all the state solutions are a little bit different. So you won't have this uniform benefit. So look, my recommendation with Benistar is that we push them and push them and push them. And in the meantime, as these other things come online, we evaluate them. And if they make more sense, you just pull the trigger.
Yep.
They can't go forever without issuing a policy and just have it out there.
Yeah. I know.
So I don't think there's any breach of contract action against Benistar that would bear fruit. I mean, you can always allege that someone breached a contract, but it's hard to show that, other than a loss of kind of your time and effort, that there's been real meaningful damages, and they'll be able to say that it's not up to them to issue the policy. It's up to
Right.
Anthem, and you don't want to be in litigation with Anthem.
And that's probably stated right in the Benistar Gerbs contract agreement we already signed. It's probably already saying, well, listen, we're just the intermediary or middle guy. And
They have no control over the final policy.
going back,
I would
go
like
ahead,
to
Bob.
add something there.
Yeah.
I agree totally with what he just said, because I worked on a few group policies, and the constant is they want this census information so they can figure out the rate. And simple math. Actuaries deal in math problems only, because they tell the company whether they can make a profit or not make a profit, or with this age group, that age group, that's what they do. So getting them to act without that, I think, is where the problem is.
Yeah, I've always felt that, Bob. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Well,
If
the
you're
one
doing
thing I
some-
just want to add to look, I understand the frustration, and I think we should certainly push it for a while and pursue other options, because there's not a ton of downside. The one thing I would just add about the other options is that they come at no risk.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to really disrupt anything that's otherwise going on.
Right. The one thing that enticed us beyond having a group plan, Ed, with all the enhanced benefits and different options was they're gonna help us with the website. They were gonna
Right.
help as part of the marketing. They were gonna absorb the cost of the marketing. They were gonna put money up front to help us to grow our membership and increase our revenue. Plus, we'd get a monthly, whatever you want to call it, stipend, whatever it is they call it, that if people signed up or enrolled, that we'd get $10, $12 per enrollee per month. And of course, that revenue was important to us. As I spoke to you earlier and told you.
Of course.
Revenue is important to do what we want to do. So increased membership, which we're going to talk about in a little while here, and revenue is very important. And plus, there was portability with these plans. And there was in and out of network coverage with this
Right.
Benestar Group Health. So, those were all great enticements, great benefits, enhanced benefits, comprehensive benefits. So we were excited about it, but this delay. I said, oh my God.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I spoke with Aetna, as you know, a couple months back when you first had concerns. And I've had several, Zoom meetings canceled and postponed and, stuff kind of trickling in. So I think this is kind of the MO of kind of doing business in the insurance world.
Yeah,
Things
probably
move
is.
more like aircraft carriers than fighter jets.
I felt lenient with them because when we started doing the due diligence, geez, Ed, I'm telling you, about a year and a half or so ago with Benestar, and talking and saying what we wanted and all that kind of stuff. And then I was moved from New York. I was trying to sell my house and I was moved. So for about 6 months, I was tied up just on all that. And so I said, I'll give them a little leeway because I delayed the process basically myself
Right.
in my movement. But okay, they've had their 6 months. Time's up. Time's up here. Let's move.
Well, they also had Charlie's and mine examples that we thought they were going to
Right.
to do something with, and we still haven't heard about that.
See what they were asking for, Ed, when we were talking before we even started talking Benestar GERBS agreement or policy agreement. One of the stipulations we laid out there, that Connie would get a comparison, what she has today with what they're offering. And Charlie
makes
wanted the
sense.
same thing. 2 of the board members pushed that hard. And I said, you absolutely have a right to have that. And that's exactly what our retirees and dependents will want, a comparison. So
Sure.
I pushed it, You understand what I'm saying?
I understand exactly. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, sure. it
And
does.
plus that makes sense from the carrier standpoint too, because then they have, real lives to look at as opposed to just hypothetical people.
And the other thing we asked for, Connie reminded me as she was saying that, we asked for references of other companies they do business with, and we never got them. Never got them. And
Interesting.
what the hell, So,
That's interesting.
they've dropped the ball many times on us, I'll give them some
Yeah.
leeway, but time's up. Time's up on leeway. So, like you said, we'll look at other options. The group and the portability and the in and out of network and all that stuff is going to be hard to match by an individualized healthcare plan. But hey, we'd be offering some kind of solution other than something that's tied directly to GE.
Makes sense.
Okay. Anybody else got anything on that before I move on? No? Okay. Membership growth and revenue income versus expense. Continue to work on the emails to our members. I keep doing it, sending emails, our email distribution list. And newsletters. And I said to Ed earlier, and I think I've said this to the board many times, I feel like a beggar, for God's sake, I feel like what the heck? What do we got to do to get you people off the dime? 139 donations out of 706 on our formal website, 2,500 on Facebook, and we only got 139. Little of the history there, Ed, is that going back when we started, for those that are on the board that will really remember, we funded the whole thing. The board funded the whole thing to go. You know, and then after that, we decided that, listen, we got to do some things that are going to cost, and it's not fair just for the board to pay everything. So we started soliciting donations. And like I said, there was like 250 back in the lawsuit days and pretty good money with those donations. And then it kept dropping off. I guess after the lawsuit, some of them lost heart.
No, I think that you know, having some sort of additional benefits to offer is an easy way for you to reach out again to everybody, encourage them to join and encourage them to contribute. It's always a battle, you know, getting folks to contribute. It just is. It's,
It is.
I call it, you know, the business you're in is you're just like Sisyphus. You're pushing a really big rock up a hill.
Yeah.
Whenever you're fighting for protecting retiree earned benefits or retiree issues, it's always very difficult.
You know, and many of those emails or newsletters that I said to them, $24 a year, that's less than 46 cents a week. You pay more for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You know, try to get them
That's
to
right.
understand what we're talking about here. But anyway. All right, so we continue to work on that. We were using MailPoet as our email distribution, and we were getting so many bounced emails, they kept suspending us. We got rid of MailPoet. We're on a plan with GoDaddy called e-marketing or email marketing. I forget the exact title, e-marketing. At probably half the price anyway. And they aren't suspending us. So at least we can still do the emails, group emails, and newsletters and stuff like that. And again, I just recently put one out. Connie shared, you know, we got probably, I don't know, 10, 15 donations in May. Not a lot, but at least after the email, they came in. So every time we try to promote fundraising or donations, it works, but it's got to be a constant reminder. So we developed with Benistar, Paul, the IT guy, the computer geek guy, a comprehensive marketing plan to entice membership and therefore increase our revenue and income. And I'll tell you, when he went over that in the meeting, it was like, I was like spellbound, to be honest with you. And the way he was going to redesign our website and pull people in and get them registered, and hopefully they were going to enroll in Benistar's group healthcare, but we would get names and hopefully more revenue. More membership equals more revenue. No matter how you cut it, it's always a percentage, but that's the way it works. So we discussed that plan. 3:10 when we had the meeting, 5:13 we again discussed, and we're waiting. Again, we're waiting on what? Anthem Gerb's policy agreement. Statistics, you know, if anybody's been looking, and I don't know if you guys are getting the emails, I did sign up some of the board to get the emails from what we call Stat Counter. And it gives us some pretty comprehensive, like when we did the pension de-risking seminar, that showed us, even though we had 60 people sign up for that, and only like 20 some odd people showed up. And of course, a guy on our Facebook page tried to make an issue out of that, as you saw. But we had 392 people view that video or the page, the pension plan de-risking page. And
That's
another,
good.
yeah,
That's good, John.
yeah, and another 60 viewed it directly on YouTube. So of course, that's still, the guy says, well, you got 2,500 people on Facebook, you only got 500. Well, you call that interest? This guy was really negative. He was like the other guy that I sent you the email about, Ed,
Yeah.
that Brunel guy that started cursing me and all kinds of shit.
You're always gonna get some folks like that.
Yeah. So anyway, so here's the bottom line right here, this number 5, folks. The bottom line, financial, income versus expense, which I referred to way up top. So our total revenue income as of 6/7 is 57,67,98. Okay, remember there's a $7,500 carryover from the previous year. We always start in the previous year, like for 2021, we started in October 2020. Our balance, if you looked at Connie's spreadsheet, our balance is in the minus. We're hitting the minus. If you look at, it's not a plus income or revenue, it's a minus. What that means is we are now eating up our revenue. We're eating up the kick. So by the end of the year, will we be flat broke? Will we have no carryover to even start next year? To even set a financial budget? You understand what I'm saying? That's why I'm getting very concerned. And it's one of the reasons I hope that we can get some income out of the Benestar agreement if we could ever get it done. Again, 139 donations out of 706 registered users, which we hope goes up through this Benestar stuff. 2,500 Facebook, which really only about 1,500 are active. And we know that by response statistics off Facebook. They call it insights on Facebook. We know only about 1,500 are active, but still, some people will tell you 20% response is a great response, but it's not enough to cover our expenses. And we're running in the red. All right. That's where we stand. All right. There's some political and territorial stuff going on, as you know, with retiree groups, other Facebook groups, retiree reps. So I'm going to defer my stipend for the rest of the year. I've made that decision. And Gerb's paid for my computer to replace my computer. And I think I got the better end of the exchange. So I'm going to defer my stipend for the rest of the year. That's how I feel. Any questions on that at all, the financial?
Well, can we divide that up between the rest of us then? I'm just kidding.
Sure. I'll send you
Big
$5.
money.
I'll send you $5.
Buy him a
Yeah,
gun.
big money.
Big money, yeah. $50 a month, right? That's big. I'm enjoying my pizzas on Friday night, Connie. All right. Third initiative is obviously get the policy agreement done again, but then we move into marketing. And we have many different things. We've discussed marketing in depth with Benestar at these meetings. This Paul is a great guy. He's got some great ideas. He's going to give us a great website. He knows how to, he said, matter of fact, you can confirm this or not. I think he said they already got 10,000 names gathered from what they call this web crawler. I don't think that's the official name, but that's what they were calling in the beginning. That goes out there and looks for GE retirees and dependents all over the country. And they already got 10,000. I think he said just on Facebook. And now they're going to go beyond that. And he said out of the 60,000 that are possibly online, he said this back a couple meetings. He said, we can achieve that goal. And can you imagine, if you can only imagine, if we brought in even a percentage of that 60,000, even a percentage of that 20 or 10,000 that they already have, what kind of membership growth and revenue we would have, you see? And that's what that whole little paragraph, next paragraph is about, is, you know, that hope. I always say, and I've always said, at some point we'll get to the tipping point and we'll go over and it'll start to happen. We'll start to grow and we'll start to bring in revenue. We thought Benestar was the entry point for that, you know, the tunnel to get there. So we're waiting on that, and we can't move forward with marketing until we sign that. But we have a lot of plans on that outreach, new website, and hopefully we'll get there sooner than later, right, Ed? Sooner than later.
Look, the good news is you can tell from the data that they publish in the 5,500, there's a lot of GE retirees out there. So
Absolutely.
the question is, how do you locate them, get them interested, and get them to contribute? That's a challenge, but at least you have a pretty big pool to go after.
Yeah, and if we go back to when we started talking about marketing, I told them, I'm trying to remember the exact, Via Benefits has 79,000 emails. 79,000, that says 79,000 people are online. GE has, I think it was 64, it might have been 54, 64, 54 emails that people on OneHR and that want the retiree newsletter from them and stuff like that. So my point is, this confirms that those numbers are out there. It confirms it. And Benistar knows that. And they know that those people are out there. And they know that they can draw them in. We're waiting on them. Okay, any questions on that? All right, let's move to the pension de-risking. Of course, I'm getting flack on that too, as some of you saw, some of the responses I'm getting. And I shut off the comments and I turn them back on.
Hey, don't worry about getting responses that are negative. A lot of times when people deal with issues they don't understand, they react in ways that don't make sense.
Oh, I know.
But
I hear
you could just encourage them to reach out to me, and there's nothing that's been said that is speculation or not true. It's just, it is what it is. People don't understand it, but the bottom line is, it's better to be proactive and force these folks to be accountable and transparent than to find out that all of a sudden there's no money there to make a pension payment 10 years from now.
That's right.
That's all. That's how you handle them.
That's exactly right.
Mhm.
All right, so, and I agree, Ed. We brought this up at the GE spring meeting. Connie was there, Brian was there, myself. Brought it up to the GE Board of Directors as part of the annual share owners meeting through a letter. We sent an email to the national retiree reps about this concern, heightened concern as far as I'm concerned. We already had healthcare taken away. We don't want to see pensions go the same way. Annuities are not as good as a defined pension plan. And you all sat through 2 sessions with Ed. And if you've reviewed the video, you know what I'm talking about. We emailed IUECWA division on 5/4 and they responded, and I just did a follow-up email with them. And I'm hoping they'll meet with me and Ed so that we can go over this thing and give them a better idea. I did give them all the links to our page to look at the pension de-risking video, the documents that are there and all that. You see the numbers, that number there, 372 is 390 now, but pension de-risking that looked at it, 89, oh, I said 60, it was 89 on YouTube. We try, again, going back to Carl there, I'm trying to set up a meeting now that me, him, and Ed could sit down just to raise that awareness and see what GE plans. So the contract's coming up 2023. God knows what GE is going to put on the table. Understand?
You mean take off?
Yeah, thank you, Connie. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. So what we're doing is we're trying to communicate with our membership. We're getting some negative people, but we're trying to communicate. As Ed said, we're trying to be proactive. We're doing what we always did, folks. Advocacy. We started as an advocacy group, an activist group, and we advocate on behalf of our retirees and dependents. Of course, we're going to get resistance. We're going to get people that don't understand, as Ed said, from individuals, from some of the retiree reps and others that try to pick apart our position. And I call that politics, folks, as I said above. I call it politics. But what we laid out, if you look at it, you look at the documents, the timeline, the outline there, we have a right to be concerned. We have an absolute right to be concerned about this, and we want to be proactive and try to head it off at the pass. Now, like Ed has said before, we probably won't stop them, but maybe we'll get them to, like with the Athene and Apollo, bring the money back on shore or do some other things that need to be done, right, Ed?
Right, and force them to be accountable, right? I mean, nobody wants a big life insurance company to go bust. That's not in anyone's best interest. But if people shine a light on what's going on, it's less likely for them to just keep being more and more reckless with the assets that they manage.
You know, when I hear these, you know, I said to these people that think we're all wet about this and we're creating panic is that, did you even go look at the webinar? Did you watch the video? Did you read the documents? I mean, we're not acting out of panic here. We're trying to heighten awareness.
You know, John, one of the things you can think about when you answer questions, the purpose behind the pension is not, is the money going to be there tomorrow? Is the money going to be there when I really need it 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now? And if you don't shine a light on this, you're taking just too much risk that it might not be. And if you do, and people pay more attention and they're more transparent and accountable, you got a better chance of knowing where you stand and of forcing people to do the right thing. And that starts with choosing the right insurance company.
Yeah, and you know, as you pointed out in your presentation, whether it was MetLife that lost those retirees or Apollo Athene put money down in the Dominican Republic or wherever, Bermuda.
Right.
You know, and if they go belly up or they shift that money around, you remember Ed showed that organizational chart, they can shift that money all over the place. God knows, and then they say, hey, come on, try to get it from us down here in Bermuda. You ain't gonna get it. You're gonna be on the short end of the stick. And state is nowhere close to the federal PBGC or RISA protections and guarantees. Nowhere close.
Yeah.
State regulations and state mandates, nowhere. So we're being proactive. We're being, you know, we're trying to keep GE thinking that, you know, hey, there will be consequences if you continue down this route. You know, they're nibbling, folks. They're nibbling and they keep nibbling. And eventually 2023, again, I don't know what they're going to say to the union, but are they going to go full bore? Are they going to say, hey, guess what? Prudential or MetLife is taking it all, taking the rest of it. Who knows? All right. So where's my mouse go? I lost my mouse. All right, there it is. All those materials are on that page right there, that link right there, folks. You want to look at it. There's the frustrations. I've already talked about it. The IRS letter, I'm still waiting on, even though I finally got through on the phone. You know, a number of times I called IRS and they said, we're not available, check online. That's the message you got. And I said, sorry. Finally, I got through and I got a guy and he said, well, he said, this might take 30 to 60 days. I said, buddy, it's already been 90 days and we got nothing. You're holding us up and transferring our name on our bank account. Kansas, we're already done. We got the name change done. Now, Connie just filed our tax report or tax thing for this year. And on that, there's a line on there for name change without going through a whole bunch of other forms. And we put it on there too. We're requesting this name change. Plus I did the letter twice to IRS that they, before you file a tax return. So we're just waiting on them and that's holding up the bank. That's the reason I'm bringing it up to you. It's holding up the bank, getting the name change. So Connie can order checks and get a new stamp and it'll say, gee, Retiree Benefit Solutions or GERBS. It'll say that instead of Rage HCC, our old name. Okay. I always mention to you the reason that all of our important organizational documents are on the officer page, which is only accessible to our officers and board. In case anything ever happened to me or any other board member, at least it's there for you guys to grab. You had to close the business down. You had to do something else. You say, how the hell did John handle that? Or how did John handle our liability insurance or our taxes or it's all on there. It's all on there, folks. Okay, committee reports. Betsy, you got anything?
I wrote the minutes and a newsletter this last period.
All right, yes, you did, and I got your newsletter. I'm gonna talk to you about that, because the second part, we gotta be cautious about the politics end of it, and even mentioning our former president raised his eyebrows, so the first part was
Okay.
excellent. So we may have to, I may have to can the second part of that newsletter. It was well done, though, and I just want to let you know that before I post it. And you see it afterwards and say, why did John do that?
Okay, okay, sure.
All right. Rodney, anything on outreach or collaborations?
Just trying to get on some Facebook pages with other plants, but I haven't got anything back yet. Several of them are saying, are you a current employee or did you work at this particular factory? And just trying to get in the door in some other places.
Okay, good. Audits and assistant treasurer, that was Charlie, and Charlie's gone, and we tried to get a replacement, and Bob hasn't had any luck, I guess, with a woman that said she wanted to join the board as a trustee, but she didn't. So somewhere, we only have to do the audits once a year, folks, so it's not a gigantic thing. Even though we discuss finances and anybody has a right to question any expense or any income or anything on that report with Connie, if they wanted to audit it on a monthly basis, but our legal audit is once a year. Eventually, we'll get somebody to fill that position.
On a good note, Charlie not being on there has cut our meeting time by about an hour.
True that.
You used to jump
Sorry.
in with a lot of stuff, didn't he, Connie?
Good point.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
He'd make a meeting last forever. Ed, you never got a chance to meet him, I don't think, and he would ask you a trillion questions, and we would be there for an hour.
That's
or
funny.
longer.
That's very funny.
Yeah, it is. Connie's already talked, and I've talked to Debt the fundraising and the PayPal Stripe stuff. Connie does an excellent job, folks. I think y'all know that. Website approvals and Chatboard. Chatboard's gone. We shut it down. Customer service portal. In the beginning, it was hot and people were using it, but now they aren't anymore. Approvals keep coming in slow. Registration slow. Donations slow. But anyway, they get approved once they come in. Bylaws and elections. Stanley, there's really nothing till the fall, right?
Stanley's left.
Oh,
Yeah.
he did leave?
Doctor appointment, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, well, we don't do anything with, we've done a number of revisions on bylaws and we handle them as we go along as a board or an organizational document. There's two different things. There's bylaws and an organ. When you incorporate, you have to have an organizational document, which includes bylaws, and that's all on our website anyway. We don't have any new revisions. And elections don't happen till the fall, and they're alternated 3 officers at a time or 3 or 4 officers at a time, I forget which, in the fall. So, okay. All right, so there's the meetings for the rest of the year, right there on that line there. I put that there if you wanted to mark your calendars. You always get a notification anyway. On other business, I'm hoping, I'm trying to be patient with Benestar. We did decide as a group that we would look at SiteGround as a website hosting provider, even if Benestar falls through. The price is about half, maintenance is included. They don't have the problems, especially Connie and some others, the problems I've had with GoDaddy trying to get things fixed when they go bad. And some of them are their problems. I see pages changed and the format of the pages changed. I'm saying, who did that? Nobody on our board did it. Yeah. And it drives me nuts. And then I try to get them to move on it. And I got to hounding the hell out of them. And we pay a good price for that website maintenance, a good price. Well, with SiteGround, we won't have to pay that price. I've already told you about the email marketing plan software. We've gone to the new one. Ed, we're waiting on your fee.
Yeah, you know, the reason you're waiting on it is because I'm trying to figure out a way that makes sense, that doesn't bankrupt you.
Yeah,
Um,
we're,
so
we're,
I-
we're pretty close, Ed. $5 or over, you're killing us.
Yeah, so it's not worth me. But I have a couple of ideas. I think we'll figure it out and I'll get something to you. I think what we could do is agree to some monthly fee that's and partly deferred. And then when you make a lot of money, when you get this stuff rolling and you have 7,000 members, then you can pay the deferred portion.
Yeah.
I think that's structurally the way we should do it, because that way, and we should make it, you know, retroactive for when I first started doing work, only so that any communications we have will stay privileged.
I agree with that. Privilege and confidentiality is absolutely a number
Right.
one. Yep.
Right, and it's good for you because you can always defer to council, and it also protects all the board members to say, you know, we discussed this with council.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly.
we'll figure out the break points and I'll work with you, but we'll get something done shortly.
Okay.
'Cause
Anybody
I'm
got
getting
any
yelled at.
questions?
I'm getting yelled at here too.
Yeah, you're getting yelled at. Anybody else have a question for Ed about that? And I think what he just proposed is a great idea, myself personally.
Thank you, Ed.
Sounds
No problem, because that way, you know, if you do wind up making some good money, that the deferred fees will be substantial. And if you
Yeah.
don't, you know, there's no sense accelerating.
Can you put a 50% clause in there? Like, if we don't want to pay you 50%, we don't have to.
No, but it'll be reasonable.
All right. No, I'm okay.
And I know Connie will take that.
That's right. She will. She'll hog you too.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
You know, Connie's not afraid to speak her
Hey,
mind.
the part of the
No.
Benestar, the part of the Benestar proposal that could be valuable, number one, having a real comprehensive plan to offer folks is a good thing, and one that comes at a pretty reasonable price relative to all the stuff they cover. The other thing is, if they are going to help you market to other members and bring in more members, and they take on a bunch of that, that takes the burden and stress off of you for doing that. And, you know, if a lot of more people join, it'll ease a lot of the other concerns that you have, because there'll just be more
Absolutely.
money coming in.
Absolutely. And you know, and that's what I was really excited about, was that aspect of bringing in membership and bringing in revenue and the numbers we were talking. And I said, man.
Yeah, and
that-
I think you'll be able to do that no matter what, because either you go, Benestar will either come up with the goods, or you'll go with one of the other alternatives.
Well, we'll never really get rich because based on what John was saying, that we have like 706 members and we got 139 that are giving us money, based on, let's say 7,000 members that we might get after all this, we'll only make $25,000.
Right.
Based on
If the people, if all the new members contribute at the same
Yeah.
rate as the ones that are there.
If.
That was good,
I
Connie.
mean,
I'm glad to see you.
Connie, what's interesting is not the math component of it, but what's interesting is people's behavior. Sometimes people will come in and they'll join and they're happy to contribute, and then they stop.
mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you might have significantly more to deal with. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. But that was good, Connie. That was good with the percentages, because you're right. Because even if we get 10,000, we get 60,000, it's gonna be a percentage. That's gonna give us money.
Right.
Very good. All right, so Brian, I still got to hook up with RX Help Centers. Hey, Connie, you're not getting any commissions from them anymore, are you?
Yeah, I've gotten a little bit every now and again, like, well, not a lot, but it's still
Well,
some.
I didn't know if I saw one in the last couple of months. Maybe those clients dropped off.
Well, if you look on the spreadsheet, it'll show you.
Yeah, I'll have to check again.
But I think it was even 2 months ago, I think we got something from him, from Gerber.
Okay, if they're continuous clients, so we should be getting a monthly, whatever they call it, commission.
Well, I don't think I'm getting monthly because
Yeah.
I know I'm not. Maybe he's just waiting to send it all up. You know,
Yeah.
like 2 months or something. I don't know.
I'll have to write to Lee Gerber, you know, and ask him what's going on.
We really need to start advertising that RX Help Center
I
a
know,
lot,
I know.
because it's a good benefit.
It's an excellent benefit.
What is
I
it?
don't know if you- Check it out, Ed, on our site there. It's a company, I forget. Off the top of my
RX Help Centers.
It's called RX Help Centers. If you look it up online or look at our website, and they offer prescriptions. Sometimes our people have gotten them free. Sometimes they got an amazing discount in their prescriptions, like when they're on, what do you call it? Maintenance medicines, like for insulin or heart disease or anything, and they can't afford it. They got low pensions and low social security. RX Help Centers has helped, but we've seen people get $8,000
Wow.
off the cost.
For $50, yeah, they pay
Yeah.
about $50.
Yeah, you pay, that's right, thank you, Connie. You pay $50 a month for this benefit, but if you got $8,000 in costs,
Yeah,
well, worth it. They're excellent, Ed, they're excellent. I mean, a lot of people talk about Good RX and these other,
yeah.
Good RX has an excellent reputation, they'll help you to save money too. But RX Help Centers is a phenomenal program. Now, there is some income qualification to it too, Ed, so, just so you know.
Yeah, but it's free. They'll check it. They'll do your,
Analysis, yeah.
yeah, for free.
Yeah.
And then they'll let you know if you qualify, if you don't qualify or whatever, but a lot of people have qualified for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell people out there whenever I see them at Ray's appointments and they're talking prescriptions, and then I just, I tell them about Good RX and RX Help Centers. And I know some people have hooked up with them. They've been really happy about it. So.
At one time, Ed, pre-COVID, when we were doing almost like site visits to different G locations or return locations, we used to hand out postcards. We had them printed for our group and for RX Help Centers, informational sheets and postcards and stuff, which helps spread the word about these type programs that we offer, benefits we offer that could save our retirees money. So, but we haven't done that in a while since COVID, we may get back to that. We got to have income first, Ed.
I know, I get it.
All right. So Paul was going to give us a perks info page. And again, he said on 5/13, oh yeah, I forgot to send that to you. I don't think until they sign the agreement and Benestar gives them approval, he isn't going to send us that. There was a page where you could get extra benefits, money off, discounts, dinners, movies, other perks, other information that Paul has that says is very good. We still haven't received that. I'll keep pushing for that too. All right. So does anybody else have any other business? We did good. Look at it, it's only 12:01 or so. We did good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I did just want to throw out real quick that I want to say thank you to all of you guys for the beautiful plans you all sent me when my brother passed away. The card was really, really touching. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Your other brother's having issues now too?
Yeah, he had a stroke last week.
Aye.
But he got sent home yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. So
Well, I got a brother, older brother that has cancer and they gave him a year, but he says that the way the doctor said it is you have a year or less. And he doesn't even want to get on the phone and talk anymore. Him and I were pretty damn close. When I was coming down to Florida, he called me every day, a couple times a day. Are you all right, John? Where are you at, John? He's that kind of brother. And he can't talk. He's starting to lose his voice.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Sad. He's lost a lot of weight. You can tell when somebody's really sick how they lose weight. You get,
Mhm.
the facial features,
Yep.
body. Ooh. Well, prayers. So I'm asking for those prayers too, just like Connie's asking for those prayers for her brother and anybody else here that if you want to share anything, you certainly can with the group.
Yep. I sure will keep him in prayer.
We go mow a yard for a man that's got glioblastoma, can't get out of a chair anymore.
Yeah.
And, basically that's what we're all about is trying to look out for one another in our old age.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
try to have enough benefits that we can live comfortably and do things for other people or for ourselves or grandkids. And that's basically what we started the whole group for.
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly. I think
we
a
just
lot of
look out
people
for one
don't know
another.
our, you know, Rodney, a lot of people don't know our mission statement, how we started, you know, yeah, we started as advocacy, but then we got into solutions. And like you said, our whole mission is about helping retirees and dependents have a better quality of life and be there for them when they need us. But some people think we're trying to make money and we're doing this and we're doing that. Try me nuts. I like it. You know how Sheer jumped up and slapped that person in that movie and said, snap out of it? That's what I like to do to some of these people. Snap out of it.
You're an old union guy.
Yeah.
You know, we got to stand up or like we just
Rolled
get
over.
steamrolled if we don't
Yeah.
stand up. So
There you have it.
100% right. And that's why we
and
got
Ed,
it on
you're the
board.
true believer. So.
Yeah.
I'm a believer for sure. It's just, you know, you just got to keep fighting every day. That's all we can do.
Yep.
That's for sure. Okay, folks. Well, unless anybody else has anything, somebody make a motion to adjourn, please.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
A
Second.
second,
All in
I
favor?
do.
Aye.
Hi.
All right. Good talking to you guys.
Usually I
too,
get
Ed.
like
Thank you.
everybody
See you,
real loud.
everybody.
like,
So long.
On the adjournment.
Bye, guys.
On the adjournment, usually I get a big, aye, let's get out of here, you know?
So long.
Bye, everyone.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Let me shut
Bye-bye.
off the video and shut the meeting down. Ed, did you want to talk or? Ed, I think took off, huh? All right, that's all right.